Coming up on Citrus TV News live at 6.
Big news for SU marching band.
And Whole Foods is in hot water again.
Plus, will a shutdown be coming to Capitol Hill?
All that and more. Citrus TV News starts now.
From the Citrus TV studios, this is Citrus TV News live at 6, your campus news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Hunter Saenz.
And I'm Caroline Strange. Capitol Hill may be forced into a government shutdown. That's our top story tonight.
With just hours left before the end of the fiscal year, Congress has passed a measure to avoid another government shutdown. The move will keep the government operating until December 11th.
Both the House and Senate voted on the deal late this afternoon. The agreed-on measure has no language about the funding of Planned Parenthood, the issue that had the government on the verge of shutdown.
Former Syracuse runner Ryan Urey is currently battling leukemia. The athlete was diagnosed with the disease 3 weeks ago in his hometown of San Diego. He is now undergoing intensive treatment, including chemotherapy. Urey says he is taking his fight day by day. So from all of us here at Citrus TV, Ryan, you're in our thoughts and prayers, and keep on fighting strong. The New York State Fair may have just ended a few weeks ago, but people are already talking about next year's fair. The state is planning a massive makeover of the annual event that is expected to cost more than $60 million. Tomorrow is the deadline for contractors to apply to be the project's construction manager.
And the Syracuse University Marching Band performs at SU sporting events all year long, but a recent invitation has given them the chance to showcase their skills far away from campus. Citrus TV News reporter Maria Cinti has the latest on what the SU Marching Band has in store.
Many people have watched the Syracuse University Marching Band perform at events all over campus, but the band will be making their debut at a new destination next year, in London. The band has been invited to perform at the 31st Annual London New Year's Day Parade and Festival, a first-time opportunity for the band. According to band director Justin Mertz, a British dignitary traveled all the way from London to Syracuse to present the band with their invitation.
They called me about a month ago and they said, listen, we're doing this sort of Eastern United States tour, inviting groups, can we stop in Syracuse? I said, sure, come on up.
The trip will be a week-long event for SU band members, leading them into the beginning of 2017. Mertz says the London experience and the large crowds will be unforgettable.
They get audiences in person of hundreds of thousands and millions watching on television around the world, which was actually quite a surprise to me.
And as you can see here, the band is already practicing several days a week, but now that London's coming up, they're going to have to start doubling up on practices beginning next year.
Mertz says the basketball band and the marching band practices will overlap beginning next year. But despite the long journey ahead, Mertz and the band are excited about the opportunity.
I think a lot of the band, and myself included, were proud to be recognized and honored. I think a lot of people found it validating.
I was like, wow, I can't believe the band's going to get this opportunity. It's so cool to be able to go abroad and be able to play somewhere else.
Mertz is honored that the band will be able to accomplish their mission on one of the biggest stages in the world. I'm Maria Cinti, Citrus TV News.
Coming up, controversial news coming out of Georgia's jail system.
Russia begins airstrikes in Syria.
And it's Hispanic Cultural Awareness Month.
Stay tuned to Citrus TV News live at 6.
Syracuse students experienced quite a bit of rain today. Find out if the gloomy weather is here to stay after the break.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
There's There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Hey, my name's Katie and I'm in the 9th grade. I'm an A average student and I'm an athlete working towards a scholarship. And everybody tells me how much potential I have. But I just wish someone would tell me where my next meal is coming from. Katie, how'd I do?
Do you have to be so serious?
Well, I mean, I did like a crazy dance in a movie if you want me to like, you know, do a little, no.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish! In your face! In your face!
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
For the past 2 years, La Casita Cultural Center has put together an exhibition of community artwork. This year focuses on America's favorite pastime. I stopped by La Casita to see what served as inspiration for the display. As part of the month-long celebration of Hispanic Cultural Heritage Month, the La Casita Cultural Center displays items important to the local community. This year's theme is baseball.
The translation of that, balcón, is the word for porch. It's a Creole porch. And we have, as part of our display, it was originally part of the original design of the show. We've built an actual porch.
It might not look like much from the outside, but inside this building, La Casita tries to make it feel just a little bit more like home.
The installation, if you look at it, is done in such a way that it might resemble family photos on a wall when you walk into somebody's home.
La Casita is currently working on creating a digital archive of all the items that were donated or put on loan so that visitors can view them anytime in the library there.
And the design of the show is inspired by a renowned work of a very important contemporary artist from Puerto Rico, Pepón Osorio, whose work is also about showcasing the lives of the communities that he works with.
La Casita is working with the Smithsonian to send some of the items on display here to be part of a larger display on Latinos in baseball.
The head of Planned Parenthood faced a ton of scrutiny on Capitol Hill yesterday. Cecil Richards took questions from Republicans who have been trying to defund Planned Parenthood because of abortion practices. In fact, until just a few minutes ago, the GOP tried to stop a spending measure in order to force the government into another shutdown and stop federal funding. However, not all GOP members agreed with the rest of the party. 2 congressmen from central New York have come out in defense of Planned Parenthood. Republicans John Katko and Richard Hanna voted against a bill that would have taken Medicaid payments away from the service. Katko and Hanna were 2 of 9 Republicans that went against their own party on the issue of abortion. The bill did end up passing the House.
The only woman on Georgia's death row was put to death early this morning. Kelly Renee Gissender was the first woman to be put to death in the state in nearly 70 years. She was executed through the use of lethal injection. Gissender was convicted of murder in 1997 for killing her husband. Before the lethal injection, Gissender said she loved her children and apologized to her late husband's family. And 4 new recipients of the Franklin D. Roosevelt Freedoms Award were honored last night in New York City. Among this year's winners were Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg and President of the North Carolina NAACP, Dr. William Barber III. The awards honor those who have made achievements in line with FDR's principles. Past honorees include Presidents Jimmy Carter and Bill Clinton, Vice President Joe Biden, and the Dalai Lama.
Russia has begun carrying out airstrikes in Syria. This comes just hours after Russian lawmakers voted unanimously to allow President Putin to send air force to the war-torn country. Russian officials say their strikes are targeting ISIS equipment and communication centers, but American intelligence says they're bombing enemies of Bashar al-Assad, not ISIS forces. In a meeting earlier today, Putin said no Russian ground forces would be sent and that Russia will only stay involved in the conflict while Assad's forces are on the offensive. The U.S. is also continuing airstrikes in the Middle East. According to reports, U.S. forces struck Taliban positions in an effort to help Afghan forces retake the city of Kunduz. Taliban forces overtook the city on Monday, their first major gain since 2001. Bansky's Disneyland will be transformed into shelters for refugees in France. The dystopian theme park in Somerset, England, opened at the end of August, and closed earlier this week. A statement from officials say fixtures from the park will be dismantled and sent to a refugee camp in Calais, France, the home of at least 3,000 migrants from Africa and the Middle East. Well, so Caroline and Lindsay, what can we expect after the break?
After the break, are the cold temperatures here to stay? I'll have the answer.
And what facts are you missing out on? Find out in our segment in case you missed it after the break.
Stay tuned.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. Got it.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
So who's gonna do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice. And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
We couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311.
So, Lindsay, it's pretty dreary outside with the constant rain, but just how long will it last?
Thanks, Hunter. Well, unfortunately, it's starting to already clear up, but the gloomy skies are still around. Right now, it's about 51 degrees. It feels like 51, so that's pretty good, but the humidity is soaring at 91%. As we look at Wednesdays of the past, we can see that we're not nearly as high as we were in 1953 with 89 degrees, but we're not nearly as low with 28, so we're actually very close to that average high of 66 and average low, so we're quite in the middle of our average for this time of year. As we look at current temperatures across the region, we can see that most of the temperatures in the area are in the 50s or low 60s, except as we get lower, it's a little bit higher, warmer. So as you can see, we're pretty well fitted into our region. As we look at the Doppler radar, although we saw quite a bit of precipitation today, we can see that that precipitation has finally left our area, and it's time to start maybe seeing some clearer skies. As we look at the current surface temperature, we can see that the low pressure system is moving farther away from where we are, which shows that the storm has finally passed and all that precipitation that we saw today is finally in the clear. So as we look at tonight's forecast, it will be about 41 degrees, and there will be a cloudy sky with a slightly less humidity at 77% with pretty mild winds. Tomorrow you should be seeing slightly sunnier skies with 61 degrees, partly cloudy, and we should really not see any more precipitation. As we look at the 5-day forecast, we can see that on 58 degrees, we can see that it will be 58 degrees today, but as we can see, it's pretty consistent with the rest of the week. And then as the lows, it will be in the 40s. So as you can see, it will start to dissipate that precipitation. And you can start to see that as although we had quite a bit of rain today, that rain is finally gone, and we should be seeing some clearer skies for the rest of the week.
All right, Lindsay, thanks so much. Now, turning to the tropics, we have a hurricane coming up along the eastern seaboard. We don't know exactly where it's going to go. That cone is so wide still. But will it bring more precipitation to the central New York area?
Fortunately for us, I think we're far enough away that we probably won't see the precipitation from Tropical Storm Joaquin.
Okay, now these warm temperatures followed by this cold front that came in, how long are these cold temperatures going to last?
Well, it is Syracuse, so I can't guarantee they won't be here for too long, but hopefully by this weekend we'll start to see some warmer temperatures.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. And now we turn to something that we like to call ICYMI, or how we call it In Case You Missed It segment. Here we bring you the latest health, entertainment, and consumer news. Here's Caroline.
Closed for a year for renovations, the Mormon Church's History Museum in Salt Lake City is once again open for business. One big addition to the museum is a display about the history of polygamy in the religion, a step towards transparency in the Mormon Church. The move is an effort to show not all Mormons are polygamists and that it's not a staple of the religion. And the World Health Organization is taking a major step in the treatment of HIV worldwide. The WHO has revised guidelines and now says anyone who tests positive for HIV should immediately receive treatment rather than waiting for symptoms to show. The move means the estimated 37 million people with HIV worldwide should be offered treatment right away. While it may be a big undertaking, the WHO and the UN AIDS Agency hope the new guidelines could prevent 21 million deaths and 28 million new infections by the year 2030. And Porsche is getting a new CEO. The sports car maker chose Oliver Blume to replace Matthias Müller, who took the same job at Volkswagen last week. The change came after Volkswagen admitted 11 million of its cars had a program that tricked the U.S. into thinking the vehicles met environmental standards. And Whole Foods is shutting the door on its partnership with a prison labor program. After a protest at a Whole Foods store in Texas, the supermarket giant has announced they will no longer sell products made by the prison program, with a deadline of April 2016 for getting those products off the shelves. And TiVo's newest DVR is available to skip commercial breaks. The TiVo Bolt will be able to avoid commercials on 20 different channels, including the major broadcast networks. The skips can mostly be done during primetime hours. The new DVR is $300 and includes 1 year of free service. And a new poll shows 40% of Americans ages 18 to 34 are willing to pay for news subscriptions. The poll conducted by Media Insight Project says older millennials are more likely than those who are younger to pay for their news. While 40% may be a strong number, experts say it could still be a bad sign for paid circulations, as the majority of young adults prefer to stick to free outlets. And LL Cool J's son is in trouble with police today following a dispute at a New York City restaurant early Tuesday morning. Police say the rapper's son, Najee Smith, was taken into custody after refusing to leave a restaurant in the meatpacking district. Smith had reportedly gotten into an altercation at the restaurant and was asked to leave. He then became combative with security and the police were called. Now that does it for this week's ICYMI segment, and if you think we missed something, tweet us at CitrusTV News. Now let us know, Brianna, what's going on in sports?
Coming up on sports, Jim Boeheim continues to fight for his right to coach the beginning of the SU basketball season. The Yankees' quest for postseason continues, and the men's soccer team look to take home their third straight victory. This and more when we come back.
Teacher, let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore. And frustration, a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy and giving up impossible. I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought and unconventional methods common. I'm a teacher. I make more.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we
We slowly changed all that. Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. Got it. No.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Coach Jim Boeheim has announced he will appeal the NCAA's 9-game suspension this Monday in Indianapolis. Boeheim plans to use SMU's head coach Larry Brown's similar suspension as part of his case. Brown was not truthful about the violations against SMU, forcing the NCAA to give Brown a 9-game suspension, a charge not used in Boeheim's case. The suspension takes that Boeheim will miss the first 9 conference games of the 2015-2016 season, giving fans until January 30th to see Boeheim coach the Orange in a home game against Georgia. The SU men's soccer team traveled to Colgate in search of their 3rd consecutive win yesterday, following wins against Binghamton and Pitt. SU defense came out strong against the Raiders, giving them 0 chances to score throughout the entire game. SU would end up scoring 2 goals to bring their 4th shutout win. And SU would win 2-0, as I said, and Orange will return to ACC play on October 2nd against Duke. Duke's record is 4-3-2. Heading over to baseball, the New York Yankees will have to wait another day for that ever so important October bid. The Yankees struggled against the Red Sox in the Bronx last night, giving the Blue Jays a magic number of 1 to clinch the AL East in this final stretch of regular season ball. Michael Pineda would have a rough night in the Bronx right off the bat. With runners on the corners, Brock Holt has a shot to right to drive in a run in the top of the first and beats the play at second for the hustle RBI double. 3-0 Red Sox. Blake Swihart would then get a chance to get a hit off of Pineda, taking it deep and gone to right with 2 men on. 3-run homer scores 6-0 Red Sox only at the top of the first. Now we go to the bottom of the first. The Yankees would fight back. Dustin Ackley would hit off Rick Porcello deep to right with a man on for the 2-run homer. 6-4 Red Sox. Now top of the 8th, 7-4 Red Sox. Blake Swihart drives 1 out to right off Brian Mitchell for the 2-run homer. 9-4 Red Sox. The final score is 10-4. The Red Sox will take the win in the Bronx. The Yankees still awaiting that milestone 10,000th victory and wild card bid. The Yankees will face the Red Sox in the Bronx for the 3rd game of a 4-game series. The Bills will likely face the Giants this Sunday without running back LaShawn McCoy and wide receiver Sammy Watkins. Coach Rex Ryan plans to keep McCoy out until his hamstring injury is fully healed, and Sammy Watkins suffered a calf injury in the first quarter of last week's game against the Dolphins and did not return. On the Giants, wide receiver Victor Cruz's long-awaited return will have to wait as he aggravated his calf injury at practice today. Following that loss,
Now you let us know, following the loss to LSU, what does SU football have to look forward to?
Well, we're 3 wins away from bowl eligibility already in the beginning of the season. The LSU game was very impressive. We have USF next, and I believe that we have a great chance against USF. We may have Zach Mahoney starting right now because Dungy is still doubtful to play.
All right, and now talking about Boeheim's appeal, do you think he's going to be successful in getting that appeal?
I'm not sure. The NCAA clearly has something against him, especially after the SMU. He wasn't truthful, and he got the same suspension. So why would Boeheim get the same suspension as him when he was completely honest in his case?
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see on Monday.
Exactly. Now, talking back to football, after the bye week, do you see us beating USF and then those other teams who we soon follow?
I'm hopeful. I mean, USF, we haven't played them in a very long time, but their record right now is, sorry, completely forgot, but with Zach Mahoney coming off of an LSU game, only 10 points down. I mean, that was great. Fifth string quarterback, and he was only down 10 points. He did well under pressure. So if we have him, I think so. If we have Dungy, probably even better. So.
All right, our hopes are still alive.
Thank you, Brianna. And after the break, what's the weather going to be like tomorrow?
And a turtle that is absolutely glowing. We'll be right back.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance, or even what direction life takes you. You just need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
All right, so what's the weather going to be like looking forward to tomorrow?
Thankfully, it's going to be a lot less wet than it was this morning. We should see some warmer temperatures and maybe even a little sunshine. So definitely, tomorrow's going to be a brighter day.
Oh, good
and
thing.
We were above average for this time of the year. We're kind of going back to what's normal. Are we going to see them pick back up any later?
You know, with Syracuse, I always say that we're probably going to go down, but who knows? Last year, it was warm up until October, so we can definitely see those temperatures soaring back up above our average.
All right, now talking about back to this tropics, does this hurricane have any possibility of affecting us directly or even indirectly with its rain?
You know, you never know. Back a few years ago when we had Sandy, we definitely saw that the trend was, we saw some precipitation. It didn't really hit us that hard, but we did see it. So you never know. Joaquin could have the same effect.
All right, well, we certainly hope not.
I'm going camping this weekend. Should I be looking out for any rain over the weekend, or what should I take with me?
Definitely take some rain boots. You never know. We should still be seeing some remnants from that low front I showed before. So you might want to just make sure you stay dry over this weekend and definitely bring a raincoat, some rain boots.
All right, Lindsay, thanks so much. Now, this was a story that had all of us around the newsroom going a little turtle kind of thing. And that's because one special turtle has everyone talking about him. It's because he's practically glowing.
And it's not a pregnancy glow. The critically endangered hawksbill sea turtle is the first reptile scientists have seen exhibiting biofluorescence, the ability to reflect the blue light hitting the surface and re-emit it as a different color.
Well, I'd say he's certainly turtle-y enough to join the Turtle Club.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to get our card taken away. That's all the time we have tonight. Make sure you check us out online at CitrusTVnews.net. Have a great night.